last year. So let's go ahead and go into last year non-playoff teams that will make the playoffs this year. I want to go ahead and give you mine. I kind of already foretold it, but for me, it's the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, I don't really think this is a hot take, and the reason why is they almost made it last year. They were the 8th seed, if you will, the first team out at 9-8. Okay, so they had the same record as Dolphins, the same record as Jaguars, and both of those teams made the playoffs. And they were right there. They were in at the very end, obviously with different tiebreakers and stuff that happened. Dolphins made it over the Steelers, but the Steelers, they win one more game, or Dolphins lose one more game, and the Steelers are in the playoffs. So it's not a hot take. You may think it's a hot take. It's not a hot take. They almost made it last year. And you can pencil in they're at least going to be 8-8 or 9-8 now, right? Mike Tomlin in his 16 years as a head coach has never had a losing season. So you can automatically pencil in their record is going to at least be 9-8. And you're not going to tell me they can't maybe win one more game and make the playoffs at 10-7. Just one more game, make the playoffs at 10-7. It's 100% easy they can do. Now, it's going to depend on Kenny Pickett. Now, I'm not the biggest Kenny Pickett guy. I didn't like the draft pick when they drafted him because I didn't really like him coming out of college. But when I was researching this, I think that there is not really being Super Bowl contenders, but I think there is some promise here. Okay? And so this is the breakdown here. So with Kenny Pickett versus his first 4 starts and his last 7 starts, okay? So his first 4 starts, terrible. Absolutely terrible. 11.5 points per game. Record was 1-3. 5.5 yards per pass attempt. 2-5 touchdown interception ratio. And a 71.8 passer rating, right? Terrible. Gets hurt, injured for a while, misses time. Comes back. His last 7 starts, 21.5 points per game, 6-1 win-loss ratio, 6.5 pass yards per attempt, 5-1 touchdown interception ratio, and an 84.3 passer rating. So in his last 7 starts, he completely flips the script and becomes a winning quarterback. Now look at this. The Steelers won 7 of their final 9 games. And in those, Pickett had 4 game-winning drives and 3 fourth-quarter comebacks. He became the first rookie in NFL history to have a game-winning touchdown pass in the final minute of the fourth quarter in back-to-back games. So the dude has a clutch gene. It's there. We've seen it. Now, it's going to depend on if he can build on this, right? Was this just a fluke in his rookie season? Can he build off this? But if Kenny Pickett can build off this and become better and play like this, it's not going to be a surprise for them to be able to win the playoffs. Now, not win the playoffs, make the playoffs. Let's look at their offseason moves. They killed the draft. Few teams had as good a draft as the Pittsburgh Steelers did. Broderick Jones, Joey Porter Jr., Keanu Benton, Darnell Washington, Nick Herbig, just to name my top 5 favorite picks that they had. All players that we were high on, that we loved, and the Steelers were able to get. Okay, fantastic draft. And let's look at their offseason signings. Isaac Seumalo, Patrick Peterson, Allen Robertson, Cole Holcomb, Keanu O'Neal, Hakeem Butler from the XFL, a freaking stud at wide receiver. He's going to ball out. I hope he makes a team because he's a baller. They have just killed it this offseason. I'm in love with their moves, with the draft and their offseason signings and free agency. I love what they've done. They're putting a really good team together, and that defense is going to be nasty. You have to remember TJ Watt was hurt a lot of last season. Their best player, one of the best players in the defense in the NFL. I think he is the best defensive player in the NFL. And so with all of that, pencil them in 100% 9-8. And I think they could at least win one game more than that, right? To 10-7 or at least 11-6 and be able to make the playoffs. And as of right now, right, still early, but as of right now, I would pick them to finish second in that division behind Cincinnati. That's how high I am on the Steelers right now, and it's going to be for all those different reasons. And if Kenny Pickett can take that next step here in year two.
Yeah, I'm not too mad about that. I'm not. Kenny Pickett scares me, but Najee, he needs to step it up. They went and got that offensive line to help him out. That wide receivers, they've got some good ones there. George Pickens, you can take him or leave him. I think he's a little bit of a head case, but that doesn't mean that he's not a good football player. Got Deontay Johnson there, and he doesn't score touchdowns, but he does everything else.
He does everything else. He'll catch the ball.
Yes, I think
Just
he's
not
one of the
in the end
most.
zone.
Yes, no touchdowns for him. Like that season that Alex Smith had with the Chiefs, where 0 wide receiver touchdowns all year.
I remember that well, actually.
But he's so underrated as a wide receiver. And then their defense, of course, Mike Tomlin prides himself on that defense, and he should. It's a very good defense. They have Minkah Fitzpatrick, who you didn't even mention back there, which I honestly think could be one of the best, if not the best, safeties in the league. So I'm not too low. And when you first said that, you scared me a little bit, because all it rides is Kenny Pickett. Can he be the guy? But
it's going to ride on Kenny, yeah.
Gonna ride on Kenny.
But he's got the clutch gene. He's got it. It's in there.
The clutch.
We saw it.
All right, let's talk about someone who's got the clutch gene. Man, I like the Jets. Aaron Rodgers can do it, but I've got a spicier take. I'm not even going to talk about them. I think the Atlanta Falcons will have a home field advantage in this playoffs. I am very high on them. They brought in, the draft was a little scary. They didn't draft too well, but they brought in stud players like Bijan Robinson. That team offensively, Arthur Smith schemes them up quite well. If he can get Kyle Pitts in it, my fantasy team would like that a little bit more, but Drake London, Kyle Pitts, Bijan Robinson, Tyler Allgeier. It's just a great offense. And they did a little bit of their defensive help. They brought in Jesse Bates to play that safety spot. They brought in Calais Campbell to rush the passer. Kind of an underrated signing that I didn't even see for a while. So I just think that teams that it's up for grabs, that division, right? The Carolina Panthers have a rookie quarterback, but they have a great coaching staff and a great team. The Saints are the Saints, but they have a defensive head coach that I'm not too high on, and Derek Carr, who loves to finish second or third in his division. And I think that the Falcons team is here for it, and I think they are going to be must-watch football.
I don't hate it, because so you said home field advantage throughout. So you're talking about like a 1 seed or 2 seed, or you
just one game? They're just winning their division.
Oh, okay, just winning their division. Okay, cool.
Yes,
I mean, I wouldn't fight you really on that at all, just because how the division felt last year, where there was a 3-lock tie for second place, where they were all 7-10.
Yeah,
and then the Bucks had the 8-9, right? Just one game separated them. It's not going to take much for any one of those teams to win the division. Really, I think at this point, any one of those teams can win the division. I mean, you just kind of take your pick, close your eyes, throw a dart, and division winner, right? So I don't hate the take. I want to get where you are at with the Falcons, because for all the things that you mentioned, on offense mostly, my reserve is on defense. They were second in the league in sacks last year. I don't feel like they addressed that at all. So I mean, they're going to be able to. They can run it with Bijan. They can run it with Allgeier. They can throw it. I think Desmond Ridder will be a capable quarterback. They've got the pieces there. Got some good receivers for him. But that defense, to me, is just what prevents me from getting to where you are with there. I don't think they did enough to fix the pass rushing problem. And I think that it's going to be a thing where when they get, with those good teams, with the good offenses, that the offenses are just going to be able to steamroll them, because they don't have the defense to stop them.
Yeah, I see that. I just think they already have that good defensive backfield with they brought in Jesse Bates, and they have AJ Terrell. I think the defense will be able to, get some pressure sacks, or coverage sacks, as they say, right? Terrell will lock down. I think he's due for a climb back up year after kind of an off year. And I think Calais Campbell is going to even in his old age, he's going to deem enough of it where maybe like a Mykal Walker can come in and get a sack from his linebacker position. They drafted with that 3rd-round draft pick. They drafted, I can't even think of his name right now. I have it wrote down, but he's kind of a project, but I think he'll work out. I think that offense is too good not to win that division. Arthur Smith is a genius. He might be the 2nd best run coordinator in the league behind Kyle Shanahan, and I'm just excited to see what the Falcons got.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be taking Bijan Robinson with my first pick if he's there for me. So that's just a fact. They're going to run the ball. They're going to run the ball, and they're going to run the ball well. That's who the Falcons are, and that's what they're going to do. So for me, it's just going to be is running the ball. Is that going to be enough to win in this league, in a passing league with the defense that they have? I don't think they're going to have the luxury to be able to run the ball like they want to, because they're not going to have a defense that's going to be able to stop teams. And so that's going to kind of put a kink in that plan. They're going to have to find ways to get creative with Bijan in the passing game, which obviously they will. And it'll be a stud to see. But